Alright, you guys should know this by now, but remember, step 1 is we're going to plug in a y wherever we see an f of x. Step 2, once we do that, we're going to solve for x equals some stuff. Step 3, we're going to swap the x and y. Step 4, wherever there's a y, we're going to plug in an f inverse. Well, that's not a very good y. Alright, so for this one, I'm going to write over here. So I'm going to say y equals x plus 5. That's the first step. Then I'm going to solve for x. What in the world? Next, I'm going to swap the x and y, so I get x minus 5 equals y. And then over here, I'm going to say f inverse equals x minus 5. Hey, that's what we got over here, right? I'm going to start with y. Solve for x, I'm going to divide by 8. Divide by 8. I get y divided by 8 equals x cubed. Take the cube root. Take the cube root. The cube root, remember that 8 is 2 cubed. Now we're gonna, so then this 1 over 2 could be pulled out, so it'd be 1 over 2 cube root of y equals x. Then when we swap the x and y's, I got 1/2 times the cube root of x equals y. And so then f inverse of x is equal to 1/2 times the cube root of x. So, no, they are not. Any questions on that one? Now, how could I verify this? Well, the easiest way is just to plug them into Desmos, right? So if I plug these both into Desmos, that would show me. So I'm just going to do that real quick. It's easy enough. Let me go back here. Done. So for problem number 13, if I say x plus 5, and over here I say x minus 5, and I zoom out, are those symmetrical about the y-axis or about the diagonal? Now they don't cross the diagonal, and that's okay. That rule of when they do cross, they'll cross at the same point. But these are both parallel lines, but they're symmetrical, right, about that diagonal. So let's just take a screenshot of that. Okay. Let's go back and do the other one now. So now for the first one, we've got 8x cubed. All right, that's that little deal. And then the other one, we've got the cube root. Now remember, to get the cube root, I got to click on this thing and go over here to functions, scroll all the way down to the bottom. There we go. So I'm going to plug in my 3, and then 2x. Okay. Now when I zoom in, I got to zoom in really tight. For a second, it almost looks like they're symmetrical, doesn't it? But what do we know about this? They look symmetrical, but are they symmetrical about the diagonal? No, they're not. And then our algebra confirms that, right? When we did our algebra. They're symmetrical, just not about the diagonal line. Does that make sense? I'd have to change this line. In other words, if I made this like if I did this, that's their line of symmetry. But that's not y equals x. So that's something that we got to think about, okay? So they're definitely symmetrical, but not about the diagonal. And so they're not inverses then. And their symmetry has a lot to do with the fact that one's a cube root and the other one is a cube. But remember, for them to be inverses, they'd have to be symmetrical about the diagonal. Okay? Any questions on that one?